Ladies and gentlemen, the Juice himself.
My fellow Americans and confidants from abroad, we have been stricken down with fear of the unknown as it pertains to COVID-19, aka the coronavirus. All jokes and everything aside, we do understand that this is a serious epidemic that has affected many lives, some close to home. That being said, we hope you all stay safe, stay secluded, but you know, the show must go on. Thank you very much.
So freaking bad. Wrestle me.
Welcome everybody to Juice Pro Wrestling episode 99 3/4. Blessed are the sick. Blessed are the sick. Back in the studio with me is the man, the myth, the legend, the master blaster of podcast production, Sreten.
The garlic breath guy.
I know. He walked in the studio today trying to kill a vampire. And instead he's killing the juice.
Ain't no vampires kissing me.
Yeah.
I kill him.
I kill him real dead, real good, real fast.
Dead.
Fuck him.
What's up, dude?
Not much, man. Just, trying to live in this crazy world of mass hysteria.
Yeah. It turned quickly into a very odd time.
Yeah, odd job.
We'll get through it.
If he was still alive, I wonder what he'd think about it.
I don't even know what that is.
Odd Job from James Bond?
That's not the fat guy that threw the hats that cut people's heads off.
That's exactly who it is.
He's the main bad guy in The Perfect Weapon, too.
Mm-hmm.
They killed that one guy's father.
Yeah.
Well, surrogate father. Great movie, Perfect Weapon. My suggestion for the week.
Let's get on a down note real quick. As you may have seen or not seen, depending whether you follow us on social media, unfortunately, due to many of the closures, I mean, you have the NBA canceled, the XFL, NHL, MLB is postponing the season, and we'll get to a few more tasty tidbits here in the news in a second. But, unfortunately, March 30th, our epic episode 100 at Three Floyds for Floydmania is also canceled. It's also succumb to the grip of the corona. And I don't like it. But I understand it. So
it's understandable. It sucks. We hope everybody stays safe.
Yeah. And hopefully down the road we can do something, as long as we're all still here and alive. As Johnny Winter would say, still alive and well. For SummerSlam or something like that. So you never know.
And can I do a quick PSA?
I guess.
It will not be quick. So, over the next month or so, there's going to be a lot of people working from home, people out of work, people trying to figure it out. We might ramp up our content in order to entertain you just a little more. Yeah. And if you got any friends or people that are going a little stir crazy, my suggestion is get the fuck away from your social media. Turn off the TV for a little bit, unless you're going to use Netflix, Hulu, some streaming service, unless you're going to get on YouTube and watch old wrestling videos.
Or listen to our show.
Or watch our show. Like, listen and watch our show and tell your friends about it. It'll help them out a little bit. Get their minds off this nonsense. The fact that you can't leave the house for a lot of people.
See, me personally, on that tip, I wish, it was dead at work today. I wish I was in seclusion. I like it sometimes. I'm one of those guys, as much as I do like to be kind of in the mix of things. I've said it on here many a times, as much as I love you all, I do not really like people, which is kind of a weird thing.
It is a weird thing, because you're lead singer of a band and all this. You're super outgoing and friendly.
But I think it's the wrong kind of people. So, before I pigeonhole everybody into that, I don't like you. I like don't know what you like. Remember? I think it's just one of those things where spend that time, find yourself, get more in touch with your fucking families,
Yeah.
You got more time with them and your kids, those of you out there working that, may rely on school or whatever, being like a babysitter for your kids. And if you're out there and you can't work because you have to be with them, it sucks. I get that. But be glad. Be glad you're at home with each other and fucking find each other again.
Spend some time in nature, too.
Put the fucking phone down. Like, you could put our show on and just leave it and let it play.
Yeah.
Or say, like, yo, Alexa, hey, Siri. Oh, shit, better be quiet. That bitch might answer again. Play the latest episode of Juice Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, ding, playing Juice Pro Wrestling Podcast, episode 99 3/4. Blessed art the sick. Hell yeah. Hey, man, let's fucking ramp into this shit. You guys are listening to this on a Wednesday because it's fresh and it's new to you, but we are recording on 3/16. Oh, hell yeah. It's a celebration of Stone Cold Steve Austin today. And if you haven't listened to our epic episode 32, where we dedicated a whole fucking episode to Stone Cold Steve Austin, then go back in the archives and check it out.
It's not that hard. You got to scroll your finger up like 3 times and you got it.
Yeah. 316 times to be exact.
That's right.
The news. A lot of WWE news as it pertains to the coronavirus, and this was breaking news before we went and hit the record button. They did it. They did it. Do you think they went too
Oh, my
far?
favorite band. Keep going.
You'd like that, wouldn't you, you fucking freak? Stop doing that. You're embarrassing yourself and me. It's all good. WWE pulled the plug on Wrestlemania.
Shit.
First time this has ever happened. Like I said earlier when when we opened up the show, I get it. I get it for people's health and safety. It's really gonna hurt. There are a lot of cancellations going on in general in entertainment and sports. With the musicians, the indie wrestling is really going to be hurt by this. I think probably the most,
Yeah, I think so too.
There were a lot of really cool shows that were going on Mania weekend that ain't going to happen now. One of them being the guys at Fest Wrestling in the Metalcade. I don't know if you guys will have to check with each promotion that you're a fan of. I don't know if stuff's going to be postponed per se, or if it's just going to be flat out canceled. WrestleMania wasn't canceled. They're moving it to the Performance Center, which is going to be weird because when you think of WrestleMania, it's this grandiose, epic fucking entertainment extravaganza. Yeah, welcome to WrestleMania. That type of shit. And then it's going to be at the Performance Center, man. It is what it is. It's just, It's weird. I'm kind of a little more intrigued now to see how it goes off, Did
you watch SmackDown without the audience? Did you watch any clips?
I did.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was weird.
It was really weird. It was kind of cool, except for the part in the women's match where they came back, or I saw this on Twitter. Someone posted I don't know if like the TV station came back too early or the feed did, and the women were just like kind of standing there.
They went to commercial, or I didn't understand
and
it either. They went to
wrestling.
commercial and they just stopped wrestling.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck, man? Keeping kayfabe alive.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not.
Somebody messed up.
Yeah. You fucked up. You fucked up. You fucked up. Yeah, so WWE's canceled. All these other promotions are canceled. You have MLW, NWA ceased operations.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
ROH.
They could have still done.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
I don't know. I don't know what's safe.
Who knows? No one knows what's safe,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. And
Yeah,
it's a good thing. It's an annoying thing.
Yeah.
Because it's caused this, like I said, this mass hysteria, and a lot of people are acting fucking ridiculous about it.
Yeah.
Why are you buying up all that TP?
I don't know.
It's fucking weird, man. Put some back. I need some in my butt at some point.
Yeah,
I ate a whole
need some-
bucket of fucking wings last night.
Yeah, we're
God,
gonna
you
need
imagine.
Yeah.
Need some of that Charmin.
Yeah. It's so they cancel a lot of the wrestling events, and a lot of the bars and stuff are going to be hurting too. But these events like WrestleMania is going to be weird. It's kind of cool that they're still putting it out.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. But to kind of combat this whole thing, shout out to Matt Nix and Freelance Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Tees and IndependentWrestling.tv. they're doing something kind of cool where it's almost like a telethon, where they're going to do, and to keep up with this, you guys, freelancewrestling.com, and if you follow them on social media, all that shit, you can get all the latest info on it. But like I said, a wrestling telethon where they do a weekly show, and they're going to have guys wrestle at the Pro Wrestling Tees store because they have a ring set up there for the school. And what it's going to be, they're going to have matches there with some of your favorite independent stars. And during these matches, they're going to have like links set up to PayPal accounts where you guys can donate to help these wrestlers out, which is super cool because when you look at the WWE aspect, right? Like these guys have contracts. They work for a Fortune 500 company. They're getting paid, you know?
Right.
That's not necessarily the case on the indie shows. Like
No.
It's like show up and fans show up and that's how they get paid.
Yeah.
Well, if there's no show, some of these people work day jobs just like us, you know? And some of them don't. They've went strictly reliant on professional wrestling. And if their bookings are getting canceled, they don't have shit.
Right.
So I think this is a very cool concept for you to support your favorite wrestler. Maybe, you know, I don't care if a guy's a heel or not, but, you know, toss him some fucking money.
Yeah.
Help him out.
If they entertain you, help them out.
Yeah. Good on them. You
It's
know?
not even helping out. It is helping out because it's helping them in this weird time, but also they're earning that shit. So,
Yeah.
and they're flipping around, they're drop kicking, they're clotheslining, they're screaming into a microphone. You know,
Yeah.
they're winking at the camera.
Black Label Pro is doing something similar on March 28th. They're doing an empty arena event, and that's being funded via Indiegogo.com, so you can check that out and hit up Black Label Pro on social media so you can get all the info on that. So, once again, you know, Midwest trying to come together and do something for the boys and girls that, hey, man, they might be fucked by this. A lot of people are, and we feel for you. And obviously they do too, so that's very cool that that's happening.
For sure.
Kind of getting back to WWE. So I heard this shit. Now, you know, they always have...
What did you hear?
That's the shit. You fucking stanky. Ow. Anyways, Rob Gronkowski. I'm sure you heard about this, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
God. We just need to stop bringing in guys that are like celebrities for the run, you know, or whatever. He's going to sign with them. I don't fucking care. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I don't care about Rob Gronkowski going to WWE. Am I excited about it? Not in the fucking least. I don't think he has anything to offer.
He might be good at it, but
I hope I can eat those words. Trust me.
Football player, but he's goofy looking.
He is fucking goofy.
In the face. He
Yeah.
looks like a dummy. I don't think he's a dummy, but he's got that dumb guy face.
He could be very awkward. You know, people are going to be listening like, oh, these guys are shaming people. No, fuck you.
I'm Rob Gronkowski.
And then, you know, his boy Mojo Rawley, who just completely, all of a sudden, his character they were working on for the past, I don't know, however many months where he's a heel, that's gone now, and he's all hyped again. Get hyped, yeah? You watch that shit on SmackDown when him and Triple H are getting Michael Cole fucking hyped about Gronkowski. He's like, I can tell you, the rumors are true. Yes, they haven't put pen to paper, but Rob Gronkowski, the Gronk, is coming.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my eyes see something that... Or
I would
maybe
love
other
to
people
eat
see
my
something
words,
else.
but it's not going to happen. Yeah. Like, come on, Rhonda, man. She's even got a legit combat sports background and a passion for pro wrestling as a fan. I didn't think she fared too well. You know, more times than not, I don't think she really looked that great in the ring. There were some moments, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not saying it was a complete farce, but it was a farce nonetheless. And I think the same thing with Gronkowski. Hey, man, invest in the talent that you do have. You're going to bury Ricochet, but bring in Gronk. I mean, how many more people is that?
Who's Ricochet?
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Another cool note, Impact Wrestling is doing something pretty cool. So, you know, they're a victim of what's happening with this whole Corona thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of their talent has had cancellations. A lot of their talent works indie dates too. But a lot of Impact dates have been canceled due to this coronavirus. And the cool thing, and everybody shits on Impact, but they're doing their boys and girls right now by paying them for the canceled dates.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Good on all of you. Some Hall of Fame news for the WWE. This one kind of took me by surprise a bit. Jushin Thunder Liger.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
Yeah.
huge New Japan superstar, just finished off his career this year. Notorious for work at WCW back in the day. He worked NXT a couple years ago. And a guy well-deserving, like Japanese, like, you want to think of, he's like the Stone Cold or the Hulk Hogan of Japan. He's that big.
Huge influence.
Huge influence
Globally.
Yeah, colossal influence.
Colossal global
Yeah.
influence.
Yeah.
Just like these guns. Well,
Trying to look
they
at
both
them.
don't fit. They both don't fit on the screen.
They don't fit. They're inadequate.
You got to have a widescreen camera. Back up about 40 feet.
Who got the best body?
Get well soon, buddy.
Yeah. Scotty Steiner. Yeah, so fucking Jushin Thunder Liger and long overdue, and we're also going to, this is kind of a segue into our next segment here. The British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah.
Finally getting into the fucking Hall of Fame, which leads us to our wrestlers of the week. Old school, new school, you guys by now should know the fucking drill. Sreten and I like to showcase a couple of wrestlers or tag teams or female wrestlers, whatever it happens to be. This week we got an old school and a new school one for you. We're going to start with the old school. The British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah, buddy.
When you think of British wrestling, there really, to me, isn't any bigger star than fucking Davey Boy Smith. I mean, you think back to the match, I think it was SummerSlam at Wembley Stadium with Bret the Hitman Hart, where he won the Intercontinental title from Bret. God, the guy got a hero's welcome, you know? And I just remember as a kid when he would, back in the 80s and stuff, teaming with Dynamite Kid as the tag team, the British Bulldogs, plural. And Dynamite Kid, who is, I think he's in the Hall of Fame. I think he got in before Davey. I could be wrong about that. I might be, but you guys can let me know in the comments.
Google it.
Yeah, Google it. Just super stoked to see this, and it was really cool. I texted Harry Smith, for those of you that don't know who Harry Smith is, or Davey Boy Smith Jr. He wrestles with MLW, was a former member of the WWE roster. When this news broke, I was super excited, so I texted him. I was like, hey, man, fucking good on you. Like, congrats to your family. Super fucking cool, well-deserved. Like, and he's just like, thanks, man. You know, appreciate that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like I said, long overdue, and with the WWE Hall of Fame, it's kind of like the good old boys club, maybe, because a guy like Davey Boy Smith, as influential as he is and was, should have been in there a long fucking time ago.
Right.
And we've said that about a lot of superstars. There, you know, Macho Man lingered around for a long time before he got in. Ultimate Warrior, you know, it's those caliber of superstars that have that impact, whether it's in ring or, you know, on the charisma level, your character level. He's one of those guys that's still talked about today. I mean, he wrestled for WCW. Of course, was a huge star in what was known as the WWF.
That's where I was a huge fan.
Yeah. I mean, he was just fucking huge. Brit, he was jacked. I even, you know, he had those braids. I kind of dug the braids back. He had like the cornrow braids back before it was cool, you know?
Was it cool, though?
I thought it was cool on him.
I just like the Bulldog they came in with, the British Bulldogs.
Yeah, what was her name? I forget what her name is. Damn it. You're going to stop me anyways. Super awesome. Davey Boy is well-deserved. So everybody check him out. He's got a huge body of work, like I said, through various promotions from the 80s and 90s. And you can find a lot of that on the WWE Network, or if you just want to fucking go down that YouTube wormhole, yeah.
And subscribe to our podcast on YouTube, too.
Yeah, jpdub.com. Direct link. It'll take you there. And going with the theme of British wrestlers, I picked the new school. I picked the current reigning defending NWA World's Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
Nick's a guy who has been around the block, wrestling for, starting out his career actually being trained by the Knight family, I think it was, as well as getting some training done with Harley Race's Wrestling Academy. Started in TNA wrestling. Guy who, he was a TNA World Champion. I know he's a tag champion. A lot of accomplishments. He had a lot of shit done. He had a great tag team with Samoa Joe there. He came in as the British Invasion with Doug Williams. He ended up joining the new version of the Main Event Mafia several years back now, and then moved on to Jeff Jarrett's now defunct GFW, Global Force Wrestling, which lasted for about a cup of coffee. Where
What happened?
Yeah, what happened? Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah.
He was the champ there, and then he signed on with the NWA. And I know that he had talks with going to AEW. I mean, because him and Cody were fighting for the 10 pounds of gold. They had a couple of good matches.
Yeah.
Exchanged wins for the belt. Didn't happen. He stuck with the NWA. And I thought that was a wise choice because it's a brand synonymous now with him.
Yeah.
I think he fits the role really well as a world champion.
He's a good champ.
He's a good champ. He's great on the mic. Dude's looking slick as hell in those suits, you know. Mm-hmm. He kind of reminds me of just like a British modern-day Ric Flair. Maybe a little more calm, though, because he's not out there yelling like, woo, and all that crazy shit. But, you know, he's got that group, Strictly Business, with him in NWA now. He kills it on the mic. And he's pretty damn good in the ring.
Yeah.
The guy's got a great look.
Yep.
He's still relatively young, too. He's still got a lot of years left on him.
He's got great hair.
Does he have great hair?
I don't know.
He kind of reminds me of like a British Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. He's got Hugh Jackmanisms.
You like that? Huge jacked man.
Huge jacket man. Huge jacket man.
Yeah. He'll also be appearing in the Wrestlemania wrestling video game.
Yeah, he was one of those first names to get like announced.
Yeah,
as
you'll
part
be
of
able
that
to challenge
giant
him
roster now.
Yeah.
The roster just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's cool.
It's growing, man. So yeah, you can find his body of work if you guys download. I'm trying to think, what is the TNA, the Impact Plus app? He has a lot of work there. You guys, of course, watch the NWA Power every week, Tuesday at 6:05. You can see what he's done there, and go down that YouTube wormhole.
Yeah, plenty of stuff on YouTube that you can watch. That 10 pounds of gold thing's awesome.
Yeah,
it really is a cool series.
It was cool. Yeah, it really brought that belt back to prominence, I feel, and helped establish Nick Aldis as more of a legit guy than he was. I mean, he always had great in-ring talent. I remember in TNA when he was tagging with Samoa Joe, and that's when I really started taking him more serious. Like, man, you know, this guy's...
Who is that British Hugh Jackman?
Yeah. Who's that Jackman? Who's that Jackman? Hugh Jackman. Who? Yeah.
That was beautiful.
So those are our wrestlers of the week. The British Invasion, courtesy of Davey Boy Smith and Nick Aldis. Check them out. Something I kind of wanted to go into as like our main topic for this week was I watched today, and with today being 3/16, the Broken Skull Sessions latest episode dropped on the WWE Network. And that was Steve Austin having a candid sit-down with one Bret the Hitman Hart.
Really?
Oh, yes. and Bret did not he didn't pull any punches on this one.
I always want to hear Bret talk because he comes off as such an authority figure and he's so wise and everything. Mm-hmm. But he also comes off as forever insulted by certain things.
Yes.
So I think he's a little sensitive about some stuff, but I really do like listening to him explain.
I think he is. He's one of those guys that when you listen to some of these interviews, I mean, if you didn't know any better and kind of really get the full spectrum of whatever story or situation he was involved in, you might think he's a whiny bitch.
Yeah.
He absolutely disdains Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And there's a few other guys, and Goldberg. Yeah. Well, I mean, Goldberg ended his career, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah.
But this interview, they go right at the gate. It's cool, too, because him and Steve have a really good chemistry while they're talking. You know, you can tell there's a lot of respect for each other there. And that's what I love about watching that shit and stuff like that. When you get two guys like that, and not just two average Joe wrestlers, but two icons, you know?
Icons, hard workers,
like,
legends.
Legends, absolute legends, like Bret Hart, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. I mean, I wasn't the hugest Bret mark as a kid, but I still liked him. I still enjoyed him. I still wanted a pair of those fucking rocking ass shades, you know, as a kid. Like, put them on me.
I grew up going, how's he getting away with that shit?
Yeah. And not only that, motherfucker is one of the dopest theme songs that the WWE ever produced, dude. That fucking guitar wail and shit. And he was involved in a lot of stuff, with the Hart Foundation and the various incarnations of the Hart Foundation, like in the 90s when they became a big group as opposed to just a tag team. It's weird now when you look at it, he's the only surviving member of that. With the passing of Jim the Anvil, it's fucking weird, but
yeah.
So anyways, they open out the gate, and it's cool because Stone Cold's like, hold on. Busts out of El Segundo, his beer, he's just, all right, cheers. And they fucking cheers, but I don't know what Bret was drinking. He had a coffee cup, so could have been water.
Got after it.
Maybe he had a Labatt Bleu, hey?
Oh, in the coffee cup.
Yeah. But yeah, and they start getting out, and he goes out the gate. Of course, they got to address the screw job, And as many times as Bret has talked about this, I mean, they've fucking done a DVD on this shit, for God's sakes. You still kind of get something out of it. In this interview with Steve, it's just, you guys have to check it out. It's super impressive the way he kind of walks you through everything that happened.
Yeah.
And Stone Cold was like, we were all there. Everybody was like, what the fuck? No one knew what happened. And it kind of drives away a little bit of that, I wouldn't say bitterness. I mean, yes, it's bitterness a little bit, but after hearing this, Bret has every right in the world to even still have somewhat of a little grudge, even though, like, hey, man, bygones are bygones now.
Right.
Because in this interview, he portrays just how passionate he was at the business and just the art of doing business in the wrestling business.
Right.
And for Vince McMahon, he's like, I just wanted to have the best matches possible for Vince. I wanted him to have that library. He was all about doing fucking good business, and he did that. I mean, there's a lot of iconic Bret Hart matches that you guys can check out on the network.
See, I you know who I think of sometimes when I hear somebody and how serious Bret is? I think of somebody like, what's his name? Diesel. Help me.
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash. If you hear a Kevin Nash interview now, he's always seemed like, I'm like so cool, bro.
Yeah,
I'm like one of the boys,
cool.
and but he does give really good interviews now, and he gives information. But I'm 100% like when you say like Bret was too serious, I also think that he was a total dick back in the day, and now he's an older man. Not Bret.
Nash.
Nash. And so like you give and take. You got different personalities, so I don't mind that he's so serious. I don't mind that he holds grudges because I think he doesn't hold them to everybody. He's not an asshole to everybody, and that shows with that Stone Cold interview and when he talks to other wrestlers that either young guys that he respects or guys that are his peers or the people that are older than him that are still around. He's got a mad respect for wrestling and everything that has to do with wrestling.
Well, I mean, you look at him, he's second generation. He grew up in a wrestling family. His dad, Stu Hart, ran Calgary Stampede Wrestling. A lot of fucking badasses came through the Hart Dungeon and were trained there. It's so hard to, like, sit there and judge him like a lot of people may have, and like I have been guilty of in the past, like, oh, well, Bret's just a whiner or whatever. I mean, dude's been through some shit. We all know about the Owen Hart situation. That's fucked right there. You know, what do you want? And then, I mean, really, the way he talks about how he went to Shawn Michaels. He's like, they had a little blow up and then they were kind of cool, but he was like, hey, Shawn, I just want to let you know, we go out there in the ring, like I'm going to do just business. I know we have a little whatever, but I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to just do business. And fucking blah, blah, blah. If they want me to drop the title to you, I'm cool with that, because they knew he was kind of on his way out to WCW, even though he didn't want to leave. And he's basically laying it out, professional and somewhat pouring his heart out to Shawn. And Shawn's like, well, that's great, but I'm not going to do the same for you. And that's kind of what triggered the whole thing, this infamous story that, well, Bret was leaving and he didn't want to drop the belt. Not that he was going to take it with him, because I feel Bret would have done business.
Right.
And he got wrong because he felt disrespected. So, he goes to Vince and says, hey, this is what's up. And Vince is like, all right, well, we'll bring Shawn in and talk about it. Well, he's like, I had to wait 2 fucking hours, and finally brings Shawn in, and he's just like, all right, so blah blah blah, like Shawn's going over, and this is that. And Bret's like, we didn't even fucking talk about it. Like, I told you I wasn't going to do that, for the simple fact that it was out of respect. Like, it's an honor thing, like a code thing, which I feel business gets in the way of that, and then maybe a little fucking malarkey. Man, dude, I felt really bad for him in that.
Right.
And then you could just see it in his face. Still to this day, it's like, man, who knows if he wouldn't have gotten concussed by Goldberg and was still in great shape, he probably could still be able to do something here and there, Didn't have strokes and whatnot, but you could just see that he was deeply hurt by that. Because he talks about how he's like, well, Vince was, a lot of these guys, that you hear the story that Vince was kind of like a father figure, and then, of course, he fucking betrays him. And it's kind of sad in general, that whole story. That, well,
When you say that, the other thing you got to think about, when you say that, like, doing business, there were a lot of those guys, especially during the days when kayfabe was still a thing, where business also involved, if there was a decision made, like either in ring, like somebody called something right away, like as a good worker, you did whatever was called for you to do.
Exactly.
And you never revealed that you were mad or felt any way about it other than what the story told to the audience.
Yeah.
So it's like there's honor and there's ways to do things. So even if you're like a champ and you're leaving, like there's certain traditions and certain ways you're supposed to do stuff. So like, I'm actually really, I didn't know that came out. I definitely want to watch that.
Yeah, I was super stoked to see. I saw last week that, there was a clip when he was kind of dissing Goldberg, and I'm like, here we go again. But, I mean, he even says, he's like, Goldberg's a guy that I don't think, he hurt people. And he's like, the first thing I told Goldberg, or not the first thing, but he's like, one of the things I told him before we went out for that match where he got hurt, he's like, hey, man, Bill, you can do whatever you want. Just don't hurt me out there. Because he took great pride in not hurting someone in the ring, which is something to be very proud of in the wrestling business.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, fuck, Owen broke Stone Cold's neck. It's an accident. Shit happens.
Yeah.
But, and they talk about that a little bit. But, man, it was so weird to see him like that. And,
vulnerable,
but still strong. And just honest.
Yeah.
I feel that it's not Bret being a bitch like he's perceived. He just tells it like it is.
Yeah.
And people may not want to hear how it really is, and so then he's kind of perceived as, he's a fucking asshole or a whiner or whatever.
Right.
I mean, he got the raw deal, and it really sucks because he was one hell of a fucking dude. He's got a plethora of great matches, like he said, dude. He accomplished his mission and left Vince McMahon and WWE with a hell of a lot of fucking great matches that you can go back and watch.
Yeah.
And at his peak, I mean, dude, he was super over. And not just in the USA, like he was super, they talk about how he was like basically Hasselhoff in Germany, like he was super over in Germany and like India and all these places.
He messed up. He should have started singing out there, started a band in Germany. Shit.
Singing and laughing off Deutsch.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
99 Luftballons.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that
Imagine
song.
Bret Hart doing a cover of that.
Mm-hmm.
Do it, Bret. It's not
Can't
too
do
late.
it, eh?
Do it, eh?
But yeah, so everybody check that out. It's definitely something worth fucking watching. WWE's been knocking out of the park with a lot of these like shows and little docuseries that have been coming out lately. To me, that's the best thing worth watching on the network right now. If you're looking for new content,
Yeah.
So
It kind of makes sense because when you go and relive those days when everything was like the awesome storylines and all this other stuff, and they do documentaries on it. It's part of them like write themselves because it was such an interesting and awesome time, and it was the height of their popularity. So like now things are a little different, and
yeah, he says in that too. He's gonna puke. No, he says in that the 90s were his favorite time in wrestling. He's like, I'll take it bar none over any period in wrestling.
Bret said that.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So
I always wonder when the people that are around during the 80s, when they say it's the golden era, was it the golden era or was it just the golden era for like Hulk Hogan?
Pretty much for Hulk Hogan. Well, for the business, yeah. For getting as big as crossover as it was.
It was so huge. You see some of those, like when you watch that, like I don't remember watching it. I definitely didn't watch it when I was a kid, but that Macho Man, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat match.
Yeah.
When they both came out, like that whole arena thing, when he came out on the, like
the little rings.
Yeah. It was just like the scale of that Wrestlemania and the match. It's just like, damn, I know it's even bigger now, but back then when you see that old footage, you're like, holy shit, was this big?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it takes you back too. I mean,
it takes you back too. And
the nostalgia thing. I was getting, a little nostalgic when they were showing like the old Bret shit, and I'm sitting there watching. I was like, God damn, man! Like I miss fucking the '90s and simpler times. They were the best of times, But it's damn cool. I feel for Bret. You walk away feeling for him and having, at least me, and I've always had respect for the man. I mean, he did. He fucking went out there and he owned it, and he portrayed himself as a legit champ because he fucking believed he was a legit champ, and he was.
yeah,
And he put on great fucking moves. Dude, his in-ring psychology was great. Charisma was on point, whether you wanted him to be heel or a face. It's you can't really say anything bad about him.
he's one of the few wrestlers where when you talk to almost every other wrestler, male wrestler, had a period of time, whether they were heel or face, where they were probably like dickheads in real life, like they were hard to deal with, like prima donnas or whatever. He always seemed like his one. If there was something to be critical about, he was probably like the old timer or the older or the veteran that maybe expected more from other people, so he was harder on people. But that's it. So it's like that. It's like that uncle that's always pissed because you're not like doing better, or one of your, whoever your military superior officer is, like always giving you shit. Like Bret seemed like that, whereas all these other guys are like, oh yeah, there was like a 10-year period where I was just an asshole to every guy, everybody in the locker room, like or everybody, all the refs, or I just listened to a podcast from a wrestler. I won't name it right now, but he just talked about he never respected any refs. Like he always thought they were just like a joke in the ring. You could replace them with anybody else. I was like,
You hear that, Jeremy?
I'm like, what? So I don't know. When you get people like that don't respect, like top to bottom, like what it takes to do pro wrestling. Bret never came off like that. He understood everything, top to bottom, small and big, that it took to put on a show and do some good shit.
Yeah, he did, and he was definitely a locker room leader,
And he had great hair, so wet and oily.
It was so wet and oily all the time, dude, all the time. To think it was just water too. It's so weird. It's all water with these guys. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Someone give me a little insight. Do they put some kind of sheen or slick or?
I want to keep that
whatever.
mystery alive.
Yeah, I think I don't ever want to know either.
It's probably water, and then when you get
always
like
see him backstage.
50-minute match,
Yeah,
then it becomes sweat and water.
like Mr. Perfect used to always have like a slick back shit too, but then he'd wrestle for like 5-10 minutes. Next thing you know, he had a blonde afro. Poof, there it is. Thought you knew.
That's funny.
Yeah, very nice.
I watched a short clip probably on Twitter of somebody put something on. It was cool. It's always cool to see these things because I don't know these and I don't notice them. It was Mr. Perfect against, God damn it. Whatever, he saved this guy trying to do a backwards flip.
Yeah.
My brain is broken. The former champion, the AEW champion, Chris Jericho. There was a match with Chris Jericho. He's really young. He went off the middle ropes and tried to do a backflip, and Mr. Perfect saw it, and he lifted his knees up so that he wouldn't land on his fucking neck and break it.
Yeah.
And then they ended the match right away. But I was like, man, protection, like old school guys, like taking care of each other.
Yeah.
Whereas you get a little bit older school, like the guys that Nikita writes about, and how those guys would just straight up punch each other in the face,
Yeah.
and just beat the living shit out of each other. There was no protection. They wouldn't break each other's necks, but they also
Right.
didn't do pile drivers and they do clotheslines
They
and
lay
shit.
it in a little,
Yeah,
Lay
but
it in
they
a
would
stiff,
be,
real big, real hard, real
they
stiff.
definitely punch each other in the face and take forearms to the teeth.
Yeah,
And
nice form to the teeth, a nice kick to the groin.
they're like, "How much did you train?" They're like, "Train."
We talk about training, prayers, and vitamins. Train? That's hogwash. By God, hog balls and hogwash.
There you go.
There you go. Some upcoming shit. I did a spot on Misery Point Radio, which you guys can find at miserypointradio.podbean.com, where I sat down with host Mike Peacock.
What's up, Mike?
What's up, Mike? And we had a good conversation about metal, mainly Handsome Prick in my journey with the band, and a lot of other things. Juice Pro Wrestling Podcast, the JP Dub Podcast, and a lot, some of his passion for, he's one of those guys that was like 80s wrestling, that era, the Hogan era and all that shit. So, you guys, that'll drop next Monday. Be sure to check that out. Some music shit. One of my favorite bands, the Swedish band called Witchcraft.
Yeah.
They were basically, how would you describe them?
Yeah.
So the first couple records they recorded, and it sounded like you could play this record and be like, man, how fucking old is this? Like, it sounded like it was from the 70s, and it was like recorded in 2005 or some shit. Like all old instruments, record analog, like great vintage sound, just hard rock, like in the vein of like a Pentagram or Sabbath.
Yeah.
Dude's got a great voice, but it's kind of, it's got that Swede overtone to it. So it's a little getting used to, it'll make you giggle a little bit at first, but it's great music. And last couple records though, they kind of, it's like using modern day equipment and shit or recording, and it's lost a little bit of its luster. But they have a 7-song album coming out called Black Metal. And it's all acoustic. Yeah. All acoustic. I listened to one of the songs on iTunes. It kind of sounds like some shit, like where if you're sitting there fucking bummed out and blah, 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 like that type of stuff. So nothing to lighten your mood while you're in seclusion. But if you're a fan of Witchcraft, check it out. I think that album drops in May.
It's healthy to run the gamut of emotions during this time, too. If you want to be a party pooper, if you want to be poopy pants, if you want to be happy, you got the music for it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. Listen to a little bit of
Witchcraft. Elegantly Expressed Depression is the song. I feel bad for laughing at it, but whatever. It's cool acoustic.
That's the name of the song?
I guess. Yeah. My boy Sean from Putrid Pile's got a new album.
Ooh.
Yeah, Revel in Lunacy. That comes out also in May via Severed Records. He just put out his first single preview track, if you will. And it's called Death Waits for No One. I know what you guys are thinking. You're listening like, God damn, their episodes, Blessed Are the Sick, Death Waits for No One. What's going on here? No, it ain't like that. It just so happens to be.
Yeah, next week it's all Dave Matthews Band suggestions.
That's right, because we did it. Next week we're going to be hitting up episode 99.99999999999. I think we're going to record an hour of us just going, 9.
We'll lose all our listeners.
I know. We
Then
probably
I'll quit
will.
the show.
Don't quit the show.
I got every week I threaten.
I'm Sreten, and I like to threaten.
Yep.
You see? So what else have you been up to, Sreten?
I got sick again.
No one wants to hear that shit.
Ah, shit. No, I know I got sick. I went hiking and without proper equipment, sweat got hit me right in the throat. So now I got a big, deep voice again.
Yeah, you do.
What have I been up to? Nothing, man. Prepping for stuff for the show, getting ready to do some really cool shit, stuff that we've talked about, so I need to be quiet about it because I got work to do. Also, this will be, if not the last, one of the last times that we record in the studio here. Don't shed a tear. We're on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on. A lot of change, as they say, and it's cool. It's exciting.
We fear change.
I don't.
As a Wayne's World reference.
I don't know Wayne. I don't know pop culture. I don't know Wayne's World. I don't know.
What the fuck is your problem?
I live in a cave.
Yeah. Glad to see you go, goodbye. It's a Ramones reference. I got to tell you because you don't know. People out there listening might know, but you don't know. Yeah, it's last episode, right? For the studio?
Probably. We might do another one in here, but probably this is the last episode, especially with the stuff going on. They talk about, we might, with the next episode, we might actually fuck with Google Hangouts to see just what it's like,
Yeah, so if the audio is bad, then that's on you.
It's on me, but I think I got it figured out. So, we've had this studio for 2 years, and we are shutting down the studio.
Yeah, going the parts unknown.
Yeah, but
it's all good though. I mean, hey, I'll put it to you this way: I'd like to thank everybody that's came out and hung out with us here.
True.
We will have another setup at some point somewhere. So, and the cool thing about this is we're going to be doing a lot of on-location recordings.
That's one of the most exciting things.
Yeah, except that they shut everything down, so now we're fucked. And we're
Yeah, we'll see.
hey,
We'll
this
see
is
how
our
that
last episode. I just want to let you guys. No, it's all good, but it's just if anything, it's growing pains. You know, you want to get out of somewhere that's a little just unnecessary right now.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like we've kind of outgrown this spot.
Yeah.
And we are more deserving of something better.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to walk in that pile of dog shit that was damn near our front, our front step coming in here. You know,
Yeah.
What up, Ho-Town? Clean up your fucking streets.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's gonna be cool seeing where we go next and what happens.
I'll be sad for like 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Not to belittle what this place meant to us, but yeah, it was cool. We had a good run. Again,
Yeah.
Like you said, I want to thank everybody that was in here and checked it out and was in here with us and recorded. And yeah, the next studio is going to be way cooler. I'm
gonna be
really
baller.
excited. We won't have one for a little while, but I'm not even sure what that means yet.
Yeah.
And in this weird time, we got time. Like we gotta see this whole social distancing thing. We got to see how long this is going to last, and we want everybody to be safe. And like I said,
But we still want to invade your personal space.
we do want to invade your personal space. Hey man, call the voicemail line, email us, interact with us. We got some ideas for some Facebook stuff. So during the day, during working hours, everybody's got to do their shit. But at night, if you're getting stir crazy, we're gonna try to figure out some ways to kind of snap everybody out of it.
Yeah.
We'll all get past this stuff, but it would be cooler if everybody would just calm down.
Settle down, guys.
Yeah, calm down, be cool to each other,
Yeah, be cool. Rewind, motherfuckers.
be entertained. Maybe watch a little bit of news and then just stop. I know we're all addicted to social media, but fuck all that. Fuck the news. Know what you know. Act accordingly. Wash your hands. Count to 20, 30, 40. Wash your damn hands. Wash your buttholes.
Ooh.
I heard a
I'm
statistic,
guilty
though,
of that last one.
I was having a conversation with my brother about, how America's dealing with this.
You and
thing
your
right now.
brother!
And I said, I'm not panicking yet because I do believe for some reason, I know it's transferred through touch and all that, but I think America as a nation has and you guys could Google it. We have the cleanest buttholes in the entire world. So
That's right.
something to hang our hats on.
Except when I come walking out of the bathroom and I try to move my girlfriend, she's like, "You have toilet paper hanging on your ass." I'm like, "Oh,
Well, that's your problem. You got to figure that out.
I know. What the fuck's going on?"
Go buy more toilet
I think it's
paper.
just I have such a big old voluptuous ass that it just engulfs his teepee.
Yeah, but as a nation, man, I mean,
yeah,
we do have very clean buttholes.
yeah, we do, and we also have a job to do, and that's not be dickheads, not fucking hoard a bunch of shit that you don't necessarily need at the moment.
Yeah.
From the store, because let's face it, you can go clean out the fucking shelves at a grocery store on bananas, toilet paper, or whatever the fuck it is you guys are taking, hand sanitizer. Guess what? There'll be a truck delivering more.
Yeah.
It's not going out of style, It's not fucking never being manufactured again.
Don't
So,
go broke buying TP.
Yeah.
You only got one butthole, guys.
Go broke by sending us some fucking money and supporting the show,
Yeah, that's right.
If you want to do that, send it to thejuicewillis@hotmail.com via PayPal if you'd like to make any donations, because guess what? We want to do some shit for you guys, too. We got to get some fucking merch made. And the other thing, if you guys want to leave us a DM in any of our social media, because I have some trinkets that I got for Floyd Mania, and it ain't happening. So if anybody out there wants some free swag, fuck it. I'll mail it to you. Just drop us a DM, like I said, any of our social media with your name and address, and we'll hook you up with some killer fucking new JP Dub magnets, holographic stickers with some killer art by Mike Miller. And, yeah, man, we'll take care of you guys, because if no one else will, we always will.
I will. We will. I don't have anything to add. I don't know what to say. You said it
Jesus
very
Christ.
nicely.
I was trying to bounce it off your chest.
I can't.
And I'm going to have to just bounce my balls off your chest later after we're done.
Uh-uh.
Thank you all for tuning in this week. Next week, like I said, we'll be back with episode 99.999999. We're almost there. Thank you all for sticking with us through this tumultuous time trying to get to episode 100.
Yeah.
It's still going to be something really cool, really special, and I hope you guys continue to stick with us and spread the word. Like I said, we're on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. jpdub.com, direct link to YouTube. Hit us up, interact. Thank you to the huge boost in numbers on YouTube. It's been a fucking pleasure.
It's been cool.
Entertaining you guys, and we're going to continue to do it because ain't no flu going to keep us down.
Nope.
I don't care if it's swine, bird, or COVID-19. But seriously, wash your damn hands!
Wash your hands.
Yeah.
And smile.
And smile like you made it. Seriously, when you wash your hands, you gotta. Come on, damn it, I'm trying to kill you. Fuck, I'm out of this shit. You ain't got to do anything. No. Cut the record. Cut the record.
Almost hit me in the eye with that pen.
I was aiming for your eye because you ain't going to need them anymore. The world is under an apocalypse. Everybody's freaking out. Buying toilet paper. Buying fucking Purell. Probably drinking it, too, because the liquor stores are shut down or something. Hey, Barney, fill me up with a glass of fucking Purell. Something like that.
Wet 'em up.
Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wash your fucking hands and be kind to each other. Stay the fuck away from each other. Just for a little bit.
You gonna do sex to me?